And we're going to talk with Pete Lucido, the Senator-elect Republican from Shelby Township, in a couple of minutes. He told off the record that he's open to voting with Gretchen Whitmer if the proper arm twisting is done and if it makes sense for the people. Tony Daunt, Executive Director of the Michigan Freedom Fund. What do you make of that talk?
Well, when there is an incoming administration, I think people in the legislature, it's always important for them to signal a willingness to work with the other side. But we at the Freedom Fund will be doing everything in our power to make sure that the Republicans in the legislature know whether or not a policy being promoted by Governor Whitmer is good or not. And I'm going to guess that we'll probably think that they're not so good most of the time.
Well, Pete Lucido is not the Senate Majority Leader. That'll be Mike Shirkey coming in. What do you make of him? And also, what is your assessment of Lee Chatfield? He's young, 30 years old. How will he be able to stand up to the Whitmer?
Well, both of those gentlemen have done really great work since they've been in Lansing in the House, and now for Senator Shirkey in the Senate. And we're very happy to have both of them leading the way. I think they're solid conservatives. They do know how to work with the other side if necessary, and are very focused on conservative policy and holding the line and making sure that the gains we've made are protected.
You so Shirkey's got a lot of experience, and Chatfield comes at it from sort of a different perspective. Is that good?
Yeah, and with term limits and the way things are here in Michigan now, 4 years of service is, you're a grizzled veteran, and Lee Chatfield has shown that he can hang with the big boys. He brought back a majority in the House in a tough year, and Senator Shirkey, of course, has been around for however many years. I think he had 2 terms in the House, and now he's got a term in the Senate, so he's at least 8 years, and both been part of great policy. Senator Shirkey, a big supporter of right to work and those freedoms, and Lee Chatfield has done great work in terms of protecting taxpayers and our wallets, and they've got great people to follow in terms of from Arlen Meekoff and Tom Leonard, who have both done great work for the state of Michigan as well.
What do you fear about the Whitmer administration most?
I think that because of her history and where she comes from, that she's going to do everything she can to appease the hard left of their party, and that doesn't bode well for Michigan workers and Michigan taxpayers. I think they try to force tax and spend policies down our throats every time they get in power, and I don't think this will be any different. And thankfully, we've got the Senate and the House to stop those.
How does the president play a role if he does?
Well, I was listening to the clips you were playing before I came on here, and I'm thinking, boy, season 3 is going to be wild. And it's just, he can't argue with most of the policy successes that they've had. I would personally do things a little differently when it comes to style. But I think it'll be interesting, the interaction between the president and the Congress, and then how Governor Whitmer interacts with that versus paying attention to what matters here in Michigan. I think she has the potential to be distracted by some of the craziness coming out of Washington, and I hope that she will focus on Michigan and protecting, like I said, the gains that we've made here over the last 8 years.
People can get your Front Lines of Freedom weekly update how?
They can go to our website at MichiganFreedomFund.com. There's a link, sign in, and you'll start getting it every week.
Okay. Is that a picture? Is that a dragon flying over the Capitol with lightning bolts on the latest edition?
Indeed it is. We try to be a little humorous over here at the Freedom Fund.
Got to have a little fun, folks, right? And
yes,
I appreciate that very much. Well, happy Thanksgiving to Tony Daunt at the Michigan Freedom Fund. It's Michael Patrick Shiels through the AT&T microphone.